ended up with 751 fish. You didn't tell me that you asked for fish.
Everyone ready for a train wreck?
Alrighty.
Anyone who's ever been to a SCF event knows the danger of first night fever. Like when you first rock up and your plan is to go fishing for the weekend, and all of a sudden the atmosphere and the anticipation and the nerves and yeah, just everyone coming together and the excitement, all of a sudden it can just get thrown completely out the window, and before you know it, your fishing weekends just turn into a social weekend. And that's one of the beautiful things about the SCF events, and what I definitely find most enjoyable.
Let me down easy, for your love for me is gone. Let me down easy, since you feel to stay here alone. I know it's all over, but the last goodbye. Let me down easy. Let me down easy. Let me down easy. Let me down easy. Let me down easy.
He had no idea he was even going to win it. Look how happy he is.
I've done a fair bit of this stuff, I was about here somewhere.
One job, mate.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
I attended the very first SCF fishing competition, which was at Marichi Footy Club. It was a little small competition where everyone was a bit nervous and not really knowing what to expect from it, and left there loving it, really excited for it, and haven't missed one since. I've actually fished in every SCF competition in the past 5 years and have gone on to manage to win Sunshine Coast champion in one of those years, after telling the previous two-time champion that I was going to tag his trophy off him. It really did feel good to be able to finally do it, and lots of hard work went into it, but every year's a new challenge.
Come again next year, I'm guessing?
Definitely.
Mate, for sure. It's something about this comp. It's more of a community. It doesn't feel like those other comps where you just come in, everyone's happy, everyone's in it for a good time. Yeah, there's great prizes, but it's not all about that. It's about the whole thing as a whole. and getting in it and having a wicked time. Yeah, that's awesome. So
We had about 20 minutes sleep in 3 days.
It's a little bit visible, but you're alive and come away with a bit of a prize.
Oh mate, most amazing event. Back next year for some big ones too.
I can't wait for next year. Basically waiting for next year.
We're definitely waiting for next year because it's next year. But
it was good. I think the biggest thing was for next year is getting all the competitors to know that it doesn't matter how big it is, just to enter it into the comp so data's entered, because a lot of them were telling me they were throwing everything back because they didn't think it would get them any money or get them anywhere. So I think it's good, and it just needs to get bigger and bigger every year.
I was working for another local business. We were approached to sponsor the event. We all got together and sat down and talked about it and thought it was something new and innovative that we hadn't seen before on the Sunshine Coast. We're really excited about it being in the marine industry and the environmental impacts that it could have. So much work goes into the events that people don't see behind the scenes. We've got teams of people getting ready, packing bags, making sure all our gear's, getting it to the event, starting the event. All the lead up to the actual day is just such a huge undertaking, and then we have this exciting day and we have the undertaking of this awesome event over 1, 2, 3, 4 days, and then we've also got the pack down and the wind down after it, which again is another huge amount of work. So while it seems like these events only run for a 3 or 4 day period, for us, there's 6 months work that goes into it behind the scenes, and a group of very passionate people making sure that it all happens.
So from the start, I kind of missed the first few years of SCF events. My first one was over at Marucci Waters at the little pub there, and from day one I've sort of been, not day one, but from there I have been shooting all the events, and over the years it's been a bit of a whirlwind. There's been a fair bit of stuff go down at each one. It always ends up in not necessarily shambles, but there's definitely a good laugh going around and definitely a good vibe with everyone there. There's been like wedding proposals and I don't know, all sorts of things happen, and it's pretty cool to see the stoke of everyone that's sort of attending, and the fishermen of the local areas just there sort of supporting each other and SCF itself. And yeah, it's just grown so much over the years, from the little pub all the way to Your Mate's Brewery, and having just the sponsors, the crew, and just the crowd each year growing. It's pretty insane.
My first ever SCF event, I attended the Shimano King of Kings, which was in Rockhampton at the Gracemere Hotel. To be honest, I didn't really want to go. I was working as a photographer, videographer at the time, and I could have thought of better things I wanted to do on the weekend. But I ended up going and I ended up working there, and it ended up being the best decision I made. When I walked in, coming from a background of having no idea about fishing, as soon as I walked in, I just remember the atmosphere, the people, the culture, the clothing, just the energy in the room was just the coolest thing I think I've ever been to. And I just knew that day I was a part of something really special.
So the SCF events to me is like more so a gathering, more so than like just a hardcore fishing events like some other ones. Everyone's there, great vibes, and no one's excluded. Like even the grommies or even the female anglers, they're all joined in together and not treated differently. There's equal prizes. Everyone gets, like, there's prizes for everyone, and a wide range of prizes as well.
Pretty funny actually, my first SCF experience. I remember I was actually going away that weekend because I heard the comp was on. So I was like, I'm out of here. There's going to be that many fishermen here. I'm going to go away. And my dad and I actually went over to Stratty, but a bunch of my friends were going to it. A bunch of the boys from the Goldie were going to it, and I sort of was catching up with them on the Friday night beforehand. And we walked over to the event. I just went over to sort of check it out, and yeah, it was just like, as soon as I got there, I wanted to be a part of it. Just, I saw everything going on, the community, sort of the level of community there, and mateship, and you know, support for everyone, and the way the comp was structured with the live scoreboards, the whole concept behind logging the fish for data, and
yeah, I just thought it was a really cool concept. And I actually remember sitting there and I saw all these checks up on the wall. And I kind of thought, I was like, and there were all these businesses and they weren't really fishing related. And I was like, oh, these must be like the sponsors. And I was like, I'd love to sponsor this. And I just started a new business. And I actually went up to the team afterwards on stage once they'd sort of done the briefing, etc. And just sort of said, hey, I'd like to get involved in this if I could next year. And that's how the relationship started, really. And yeah, it's just, I've just wanted to be a part of it ever since. So it's really cool. My next experience was really, after that, was, I guess, the King of Kings, the very first King of Kings. And the same guys I sort of came to hang out with that Friday night for the SCF comp, I sort of road tripped up to the King of Kings with, and that's the Yeppoon comp. And yeah, I remember just like rocking up, and the crew had this crazy villa on top of this bloody hotel, and it was actually really like pretty lush. And we had a bit of a night, and it was and we got to know each other really well, and then the fishing was interesting for the whole weekend because we had that night, and it maybe continued onwards, but yeah, it was just really cool, and that's where the bond really started. And when I came back to the sunny coast, I really started to immerse myself in it and get to know everyone, and we started fishing together, and it's all just snowballed from there, really. I was sticking my hand up for everything that I could, just trying to get my nose in there, as I do. I guess now it's like 3 years on, or 2.5 years on. It feels like 10, because there's just been so much happened since, and I'm really stoked to be a part of this family and part of the team. And there's so many rewarding things that come from this, my role and being a part of SCF, and being a part of the comps and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, it's everything from the Groms coming up, even just like meeting the Groms, making connections there, passing on knowledge, hanging with their dads because they're all legends, to all the boys, all the girls who get involved. It's really cool. It's just, you don't see it happening really in the industry, and yeah, I'm really excited for the future.
I'm getting absolutely roasted right now because whatever's coming out of my mouth doesn't actually portray how passionate I am about what these events mean to me and what they mean to everyone else, and how honoured I am to have everyone here supporting them and being a part of them. And I really look forward to meeting new people, making new friends, and going on a journey with everyone for the next forever, hopefully. I've made friendships forever. Thank you.
And they say all I rap about bitches and champagne. You would too if every night you seen the same thing. Money wall to wall, young famous nigga. Spend it all, when you die you can't take it with you. Bottle of rosé if I'm drinking with you. Cause most niggas broke, they bankers injured. Them bitches gon' ride with who they think's a winner. And I'll be smiling in case they take a picture. I'm smoking weed, drinking liquor, make 100 off the show and spend it all on my niggas. When I go shopping, I tell them pick one, cause they was with me when nobody seen the vision. Always about my business, don't play the cards, I talk to the niggas who deal them. World flush, now look up them niggas and baby girl, you'll see us, yeah. I'm gonna spend it all, why wait for another day? I'ma take all this money I own and blow it all away. Cause I can't take it when I'm gone, 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 gone. No, I can't take it when I'm gone, 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 gone. I'm gonna spend it all, why wait for another day? I'ma take all this money I own and blow it all away. Cause I can't take it when I'm gone, 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 gone. No, I can't take it when I'm gone, 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 gone. No, I can't take it when I'm gone. Pile of hoes in my car, they wanna feel it at maximum speed, never have an absence of weed. Caribbean at the bar, everything Louis V, plus the most exclusive tree in my jar. Making my bank, spending it all, and that expensive shit you paid for, she had it on, she taking it off. Most of these niggas just talk, ain't caking it off. Back in the day, money was short, I'm making it taller. You know what I mean? Some say it's a problem. Blowing my greens, not saving my collards. No NBA, they say I'm a baller. Live for the day, stunned like my father.
Wait for another day. Yeah. I'ma take all this money I own and blow it all away. Cause I can't take it when I'm gone, 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 gone. No, I can't take it when I'm gone, 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 gone. I'm gonna spend it all. Why wait for another day? I'ma take all this money I own and blow it all away. Cause I can't take it when I'm gone, 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 gone. No, I can't take it when I'm gone, 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 gone. No, I can't take it when I'm